Time for It Matters, presented by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. The Detroit Lions are trying to get right in week 3, starting the season out 1-1 after a loss to Tampa Bay. Next up, they got Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Amon-Ra St. a huge part of that Lions offense. He had a team-high 11 receptions and over 100 yards in that L to the Bucs. It's his 7th career game with 10 or more receptions. Detroit, by the way, 7-3 in their last 10 road games, trying to keep that winning record on the road alive. Now, Amon-Ra St. sat down with our very own Haley Sutton before the Lions Week 3 matchup. Let's take a listen.
Well, we are pleased to be joined by Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Amon-Ra, thank you for being with us first and foremost. Kind of want to take you back to Sunday. I know it wasn't the result you guys wanted in terms of the win-loss, but it was still for you a 100-yard game. What takeaways did your team have after that game on Sunday?
Yeah, it was a tough loss for us. You know, we got in the red zone. I think it was 7 times, only came out with 1 touchdown. So we got to be better in the red zone, definitely. But, you know, we threw the ball about 55 times. So for me to have 100 yards in that game isn't too surprising. I had 19 targets, which is a lot of targets. With 19 targets, you should always have above 100 yards. But we just fell short. I feel like, you know, we did pretty well throughout the game, but just in the red zone, we kind of stalled. So we got to clean up the red zone issues that we had. And I think other than that, we'll be just fine.
I want to talk about your head coach for a minute. Dan Campbell, Mr. Fourth Down, as we kind of call him in the media. He's always trusting you guys to make a play anywhere on the field. We saw you had that fake punt at one point, always going for it on 4th down. How much fun is this offense when you've got a coach who believes in you guys, and quite frankly, it's a very unpredictable offense that makes it challenging for the other team?
Yeah, we love it. We love playing for Coach Dan. We know, you know, 4th down in our territory, most likely we'll go for it, depending on the situation. But so it just kind of has taught us as an offense that if it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and we're in the plus territory, you know, and we call a play that's only going to get 5 or 6 yards, it's probably because we're going for on 4th down. So things like that we've learned just being in this offense for so long, playing for a coach like Coach Campbell. But we love going for it on 4th. We're all for it. We love their aggressive mindset. We've all kind of, you know, adapted and brought that culture on to the whole team. So defense knows it. Our offense is ready for it. So we're all for it.
Are you a coffee guy? Would you try his coffee order ever?
I'm not a coffee guy, actually, so I don't drink any coffee.
Got it. Yeah, his coffee order is kind of crazy there with all the espresso in it. Obviously, before the season, Amon-Ra, you know, you were the one that reset the wide receiver market. You got that well-deserved $120 million extension. What did it mean for you to earn that extension and to stay in Detroit for a few more seasons?
Yeah, I was super grateful, super humbled by the contract extension. Obviously, you know, couldn't have done it without my teammates, my coaches, my agent, my support system, everything. The city of Detroit. I'm so glad to be here for another 4 or 5 years because, you know, this is where I was drafted. This is all I really know, and to be with a lot of the same guys that I got in with, a lot of the same coaches, some new guys that we drafted, but the whole nucleus, for the most part, is a lot of the same guys that I came in with. So it's awesome to still be here. I'm glad, you know, I'm going to be here for many more years to come. But this year, you know, this year is now. We got to take care of business, you know, next week against the Cardinals. But all in all, I'm super grateful.
Yeah, along those same lines, I kind of want to take you back for a minute to 2021 when you were drafted by the Lions in round 4. You, of course, were very popular on social media. You had that viral clip where you could recite every wide receiver drafted before you. Fast forward a little bit more and you score that first touchdown of your career against the Vikings, and it had been so long since your team had picked up a win. You were the hero in that moment. And then you fast forward to where you are now, one of the highest paid wide receivers in the league. You're playing for a really talented Lions team. Just talk about the journey and where you are now at this point in the career, and you know how far you've come since that first moment.
Yeah, it's been a full 360 moment for me, definitely. I would say, you know, being drafted to Detroit, I didn't really know what to expect when I first, you know, got the call, going to a city that I've never been to. You know, I spent most of my time playing football in California. I went to high school in California and went to USC. So playing football in another country where it's cold, wasn't used to it. Luckily, we play indoors in Detroit, which is amazing for me. I play receiver, so to get rid of those cold games is a blessing. But we played teams like Green Bay, who are in division, who have those cold games. I mean, we just play a bunch of cold games in the league, so I had to get used to that. But just being, across the country away from home was definitely getting something to get used to. But it was, I got used to it pretty quick. Obviously, my rookie year wasn't the year that anyone wants to have to only win 3 games. But, after that, we kind of picked things up going into my second year. We started slow, ended up almost making the playoffs that year. And then last year, making it all the way to the NFC Championship. It's been an amazing journey. I wouldn't change it for the world. The process has been great to be able to see, the growth of all of us as players, coaches, the development, the city, the fans. I think they deserve it. They've been so, so patient with us. I feel like these past, really this whole franchise has been super, the fans have been super patient throughout this whole thing. They've been, dying for a playoff win, and we gave them that last year. Home playoff win. So trying to build off that this year, but we know, expectations are high, but we got to take care of business as players and as coaches. We know that. And I think the target on our back is even bigger than it's ever been, but I think we're embracing that as a team, and we're ready for the challenge.
Do you remember off the top of your head just the coldest game that you've played in? I know you kind of touched on that a couple of times there.
Yeah, I think the coldest game I played in was actually my second year in Carolina. It was there was like some super cold games throughout that whole weekend, I remember, and I just remember the turf was it was turf, but it was like rock hard. I couldn't even break down on it. It was crazy. It was definitely the coldest game I've ever been in. And then the few games I've had at Lambeau have been pretty cold too. So
yeah, I was expecting you to say Lambeau was the coldest, not Carolina, but hey,
yeah, Carolina.
Get them where you get them. I want to take you back to college here for a minute. You mentioned USC. Of course, your Trojans are ranked. They are now in the Big Ten. Before we get to their matchup this weekend, what are your thoughts on them playing in a new conference?
I'm excited. I'm here for it. The Pac-12 was great. I feel like they never got the respect that they deserve. The Pac-12 did. So, whenever the Pac-12 was in the playoffs or whatever it was, I was always rooting for the Pac-12, but now it's the Big Ten. So we got to take our talents to the Big Ten, see what we can do there. But USC, starting hot 2-0, beat LSU week 1, but they got Michigan this week. It's going to be a good matchup at the Big House. I can't wait to watch it. Unfortunately, I can't be at the game because we're traveling Saturday. I wish we'd have had a Sunday game so I could, actually go to the game. It's only like an hour from where I live, but going to watch the game. I'm going to be tuned in. I can't wait to see what they do. The young guys at USC, they look good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a game you can watch right here on CBS. By the way, we'll have the pregame show leading up to it, a little publicity there. I did do some reading, though, Amon-Ra, and I saw where you actually almost went to Michigan. I would love to hear the story on what made you make the swap and go Trojans in college.
Yeah, I actually took an official visit to Michigan. I only took 3 official visits. It was Michigan, Notre Dame, and USC. And went to Michigan, took the official my senior year. Talked to Harbaugh and everyone. I love the school. They were, good football program, obviously, good business school, something that I went to study in college, which I did when I went to USC, but they had a good business school, everything that I wanted, really. It was just far from home. And when I went to the official, they actually got beat by Michigan. They lost to Michigan State in a rainy game. And I was like, damn, do I really want to play in the rain, this weather? I don't know. Or I could just stay home and go to USC, keep my talent at home. I feel like at that time, a lot of the high school players that were, highly ranked in California were leaving to go to different states to play college football. So for me, I just want to keep my talent at home, hopefully try to win something at USC. That never happened, but they're in good hands now.
Hey, listen. Big game this weekend. Anything could happen. We certainly are looking forward to watching that one play out on CBS. But Amon-Ra, thank you so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.